Evening, everyone. I'm going to reconvene the August 19th meeting of the Lake Forest Board of Education. First order of business is 2.1 Pledge of Allegiance, followed by I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Item 2.3, roll call of eligible witnesses. Dr. Wyatt. Present. Mrs. Starkey as Vice President. Here. And I am James Rowell, President and Chair of the evening, and I will say that I am honored and excited to serve as Board President this year. I will do my best to fill Mr. Dempsey's shoes. It's been a long time since I served this role, and he left quite the legacy to fill, and I'll do my best. So, moving on to item 2 for approval of agenda. This is
Make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented. Second.
having a motion and properly second on the floor. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 3-0.
Section 2.5, approval of the minutes. I make a motion, we approve the minutes from the June 26th, July 7th, July 10th, August 5th, 2025 meetings of the Lake Forest Board of Education. Second.
Having a motion and properly second to approve the June 26th, July 7th, July 10th, and August 5th board meeting minutes. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 3-0. No 2.6, recommended presentation, we have none. 2.7, citizens participation. Time to set aside early in each Lake Forest Board of Education meeting for citizens participation to allow members of the public to address board members on any relevant topic. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Reading directly from Board Policy KE, Public Concerns and Complaints. The citizens participation item on the board agenda is an opportunity for members of the community to speak publicly. Those who wish to speak publicly to the board must complete the information from form provided at the board meeting and submit it to the board secretary prior to the opening of the meeting. The form should clearly state the reason for addressing the board. The public should not expect discussion or responses at this board meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Do you have anyone? Do not. All right. Now we will move into the report section of our agenda. Item 3.1, financial report, Mr. Football.
Good evening. So this is going to be our June 2025 monthly board financial report. And so this is our opportunity to see how we ended the fiscal year compared to what we had budgeted across the different categories. So when we look at the revenue report overall across the board, just big picture, we received 70.3 million, and that's compared to about 62.5 million last year. So that's an increase of about 7.8 million. That equates to about 12%. And so most of that, of course, comes on the state side, that increase, where we increased over 6.7 million in the amount we received up there, mainly due to those higher unit count numbers. And then about 1.2 million of that increase came from the local funds area, and we actually went down about 160,000 in the federal funds area. So in terms of our overall state, local, federal mix of revenues, our federal actually went down this year from 6% to 5%. So we saw a little bit of a retreat there from the federal funds. And most of that was due to the Title I, with a little bit on the Perkins side as well. Because actually there was a little bit of an increase on the IDEA portion. So then looking at it from the discretionary fund standpoint, we did see a discretionary increase of 1.1 million over last year's totals. And so about 400,000 of that was from the state's discretionary side, and a little over 650,000 was on the local discretionary side. And so that's a good portion in terms of what we see there. Overall, we collected 102% of our discretionary funds compared to 104% last year, and our all total funds was 102%, which was identical to what it was the prior year. So, any questions on the revenue report?
Questions for Mr. Kelvin on the revenue?
Okay. Moving on to the expenditure side of the report, again, looking big picture on the expenditure side, we spent or encumbered 63 million compared to 55 million the prior year. So that's about a 7.7 million increase, 14% higher. And our discretionary spend increase was about 1.3 million from the up 1.3 million from the prior year. So what I'm trying to say there is we are continuing to see that increased spend in our local discretionary budget as we had fully anticipated. You know, we projected that out, 2-3 years ago that we were gonna have the increased spending. With that 1.3 million discretionary increased spend, most of that's coming on the salary side. About 800,000 is just the pure local salaries, a little more than that. But then you've also got the SROs and the constables, which, now that we've expended all of our prior safety grant funds, we're now spending, about 130,000 a year just on the constables out of local funds over and above what we get from the safety grant. So even with the safety grant, we still have some local spend involved there. As far as the other portion of that increase in the discretionary spend, that came pretty much from our in-district high roads classroom, an increase in curriculum. And then also the school spend across the board was pretty much up over last year. So those were kind of three other areas that kind of made up that other 300,000. At least those were the three biggest areas I could find that made up that other 300,000 increase in discretionary spend. So we did end the year with about 3% of our discretionary budget remaining compared to 3% last year. So there we are again at about 3% underspend compared to what we budgeted. So that's good news. As far as the non-discretionary side, we did end up with about a net $63,000 overspend on our tuition lines there, the tuition salaries and then the tuition payments, special schools. When I take the two into account, you had a 95,000 balance left in the one line there and 158,000 overspend on the payments to the special schools. And so even though we consider that an overspend, we did collect considerably more in terms of the tuition revenue. So that kind of made up for the cost difference there. And then we finished the year with 6% all funds budget remaining compared to 7% last year. So the next board meeting, I will be presenting the financial position report. So that's how we concluded the year in terms of our district reserve. And then I'll also be presenting the FY 2026 preliminary budget. So those will be coming up at the next meeting. So any questions on the June board report?
Questions on the expenditure part, or any other questions on the? Thank you, sir. Item 3.2, Superintendent Dr. Lucas.
Good evening, everybody. Excited to give the board and community the first official report for the 2025-26 school year. And as always, I like to start with a few things to celebrate. First, I want to recognize and congratulate a few of our administrators who have been elevated to new positions this year. Dr. Brandy Cooper is our new Human Resources Director. Dr. Sarah Huber is now officially taken over as a new principal at South Elementary School. She's joined by new Assistant Principal Dawn Dick, who's not with us tonight. And then, of course, our newest advancement is our W.T. Chipman Principal, Reggie Milner, in the back there. Congratulations, Mr. Milner. Congratulations to all our newest leaders. We can't wait to see the great things you all will do. Next, we had our newest Spartan staff members report this week. Tuesday, they met with their mentors. Wednesday, they had a chance to meet with administration and the Lake Forest Education Association. And today, new staff spent time with the curriculum and assessment team. I want to send thanks and congratulations to all the staff who helped make the transition effective for our new staff, and tell our newest team members how happy we are they chose Lake Forest. We feel they will quickly see this is the best decision they've ever made. I want to send kudos and thanks out to our custodial staff who've been working tirelessly this summer and are still working to get our buildings shipshape for school. We still have some work to do, but I'm confident the doors will be open on time and the buildings will look fantastic. Some of the big projects they've completed include painting at W.T. Chipman and Central, new flooring at Chipman and North, some added parking at East, upgrades at Lake Forest that include new HVAC for the gym, new tile in the pool area, and a refinished gym floor. So thanks to all those hardworking Spartans led by Mr. Starr, who's here tonight. As always, our tech team has been hard at work this summer. This year, they've been presented with a new twist as they've been managing the transition to a new student information system. This year, as many of us know, we're going to be using Infinite Campus for all of our student records, transportation, data tracking, and numerous other automated tasks. As you can imagine, this has been a major job transitioning all the data from eSchool, and our folks have encountered many hurdles along the way. Giant thanks to Mr. Lovin and the tech team. He's here with us tonight. Mrs. Anita Bulachek, Mr. Dick, and the CIA team, and especially Ms. Danielle Brigette, and Mr. Weller, who is working, probably still working on transportation right at this moment. We asked for patience during the transition, but I can assure you the community, we will get to full functionality, and we hope the remainder of this transition will be virtually invisible. If anyone's wondering, this is a statewide initiative, and all 19 districts are pretty much going through the same thing right now. A lot of calendar updates this time of year. This coming Monday, the remainder of our teachers' report start gearing up for our students. And then on August 25th, the rest of the staff report for the year. Our meet and greet events are on August 27th, and then the transition day for grades kindergarten 4, 6, and 9 take place on Thursday, August 28th. There's no school August 29th or Monday, September 1st for Labor Day. And then all students will report for their first official day of school, September 2nd. And we are super excited for that. As always, you can find all this information on our website, or if you're like me and you want to speak with a real person, just give your student's school or the Central Business Office a call and we'll help you out. That's all I have this evening. Yield the floor back to President Rao and the board for any questions or discussion.
Dr. Lucas, any questions for Dr. Lucas? All right, thank you, sir. Moving into item or section 5, unfinished business, 5.1, board policy, second reading, this is an action item.
Make a motion, we approve resolution 5.1 as we modified from during discussion. Second.
Very motion properly seconded on the floor. Take a look at this one policy, we did come back. I believe we made some changes to the honor roll section for grades 2 to 5, I believe. And then also, I believe, some changes to these grades 6 to 8 as well, including the line about any grade below a 7% disqualified student. Questions from the board?
No.
I'm cool with this change. Hearing no questions, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 3-0.
Right, section 6.1 board policies first reading, and make a motion, we approve the following policies as modified during discussion.
This one is a first reading. This is just a,
But I think we're just doing first reading for board policies, correct?
we're doing one reading.
Yeah, just one. Right?
Oh, you're right, you are right. That's why we have it once.
Second.
The motion properly seconded on the floor. Any questions on the motion? We will dive into these policies. What we should be quick. There are quite a few. First policy, board policy BA, school board operational goals. Any questions or comments on board policy BA?
None.
Board policy BAA, evaluation of school board self-evaluation.
Is there a question?
Yes, Mrs. Stark.
I mean, is this meant to be something formal we do? I mean, I think we informally evaluate ourselves and often comment on how well we work as a board and as individual board members, but like, is this something formal?
That's a great question. In my 11 years, we've never actually done anything in
Yeah.
terms of an outside consultant or any other formal evaluation process. I personally would not be opposed to it.
Yeah.
I don't know where we would even turn to. You know, I don't know if that's something through DSBA or.
There's not an official document of self-evaluation. We could seek one from other states, but not
Yeah.
within.
I mean, I don't know if there's a way to have an outside consultant come in and observe a couple of our board meetings. I don't know, but I wouldn't be opposed to something like that. So when we do have the full board meeting, that's something we can discuss and consider.
Okay.
Any other questions on BAA? Board policy BBAA, board member authority and responsibilities. Any questions on BBAA? I had just one, because my thoughts were the actual lead-in line to the numbered section there. It says actual duties of an individual board member may be enumerated as follows to : my suggestion is to change that after member and just say include the following. Actual duties of an individual board member include the following.
Mhm.
Because I don't like may, I agree with all seven of those things, and I think we should be stronger than me. Any other questions on BBAA? Board policy BBB, board membership dash elections slash appointment. Any questions on BBB? Board policy BBBB, board member oath of office. BBBB.
It's an extremely difficult one to say.
Thank goodness we hand a copy out as we go through this, because it's tough to. Be better on that. Board policy BCA, school board member ethics. School board member ethics. Any questions on BCA? Again, for me, the third line that leads into the numbered lines, it says an effective board member agrees to. I wouldn't mind seeing that just change the board members agree to.
Mhm.
All right, excuse me, board policy BCD, board member conflict of interest. Any questions on BCD? Questions or comments? Board policy BDA, board organizational meeting. Any questions or comments on BDA? Board policy BDB, board officers. Any questions or comments on BDB? Board policy BDC, appointed board officials. Any questions on BDC? Board policy BDD, board dash superintendent relationship. Any questions on BDD? Board policy BDE, board committees. Any questions or comments on BDE? Board policy BDG, school attorney. Any questions on BDG? Board policy BDH, board consultants slash staff assistants. Any questions or comments on BDH? Board policy BE, school board meetings. Questions or comments on BE? I just had one, the second paragraph, which is one sentence. If we can take that sentence and add it as the last line in the third paragraph. So it would read, executive sessions will be convened only for the purpose of discussion. No final action will be taken during executive sessions. Executive sessions will be conducted in accordance with Delaware Code at all times. To enter into executive session. There you go. Yes, sir. So a 3-paragraph policy there. Any other questions or comments on BE? Board policy BEDF, voting method at board meetings. Any questions on BEDF? Board policy BEDI, news media services at board meetings. Any questions or comments on BEDI? Board policy BEDK, reporting board meeting business. Any questions on BEDK? Board policy BF, school board work sessions and retreats. Any questions or comments on BF? Questions or comments on board policy BGA, policy development system? Any questions or comments on BGA? The only question I initially had was with the the creating of the our policy manual is the September 2012 revised edition of the NEPN. I went back to it, looked it up, and it is still the September 27th. Okay, September 2012 revised edition. They have not revised it, so we're good. Board policy BGC, policy revision and review. Any questions or comments on BGC?
Yeah.
Board policy BHC, board communications with staff. Any questions or comments on BHC? Board policy BIA, new board member orientation. Any questions or comments on BIA? Board policy BIB, board member development opportunities. Any questions on BIB? Board policy BID, board member compensation and expenses. I may be wondering, what is the compensation? I can tell you it's zero. Board policy BID, any questions or comments on BID? No questions or comments, you chocolates from the gallery, I'll take that. Board policy BKA, our last policy of the evening, liaison with school boards, associations, any questions or comments on BKA? Hearing none, we do have a motion on the floor, a few changes we've made, any additional questions or comments on this motion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote, all those in favor, aye, opposed, abstentions, motion carries 3-0.
Section 8.1 personnel report. I make a motion, we approve the personnel report as presented.
Second,
I have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the personal report, section 8.1. Any questions or comments on the motion? Just a notation from the chair. This is something that you guys are not used to us doing. Couple things with this. We are attempting to consolidate the personnel report, as you know, with our agenda. There are numerous sections of personnel that we go through and do a lot of different motions. This is going to streamline our agenda. A lot of other districts have transferred into doing a personnel report. And we consulted with our council to make sure that what we're trying to do and what we're doing is in line with all approved rules for conducting a meeting, and we're good to go with that. So a report was posted prior to the meeting. Any questions from the board on the resolution that has been motioned and seconded? Hearing no questions, I would call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 3-0.
Section 10 of the business, I make a motion, we approve resolution 10.1 school choice as presented.
second,
I have a motion on the floor and a properly second to approve resolution 2.1 school choice. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 3-0.
Section 11, other business field trips, I make a motion, we approve resolution 11.1 through 11.3 as presented.
second,
I have a motion properly second on the floor to approve resolutions 11.1 through 11.3. Other business field trips. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 3-0.
And section 12, other business financial reports, I make a motion, we approve the financial report as presented tonight.
second,
I have a motion properly second on the floor to approve resolution 12.1 financial report. Any questions on that motion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 3-0. Takes us, thank you, Mrs. Starkey, thank you, Dr. Wyatt. Takes us into section 14, board reports, discussions, concerns. Section 4, or excuse me, resolution, section 14.1, Delaware School Boards Association. Mrs. Starkey.
Yeah, we haven't met. I have not seen a meeting schedule yet. Have you?
no, they did have the yearly gathering last Saturday afternoon for all of the school board members. And it basically highlighted who was leaving the position, how many years they had served. They were each given a plaque. And they acknowledged that Lake Forest had lost our leader as a school board member, and he will be honored next year. But I have not seen any schedule for either that or the legislative committee.
Okay.
Either.
Yeah, okay.
Cause those will start in September, correct? Like the
So-
SBA is.
So the DSB meetings do start up a lot earlier in the year. The legislative meeting, I believe there's one in the fall, and then they really get going in the spring, as they
Right.
get closer to session. Thank you, Mrs. Starkey, Dr. White, any questions? Going through this here, we just discussed it, so I'm assuming that there are no other questions from Mrs. Starkey. Any questions from Mrs. Starkey? Thank you. Turn it over to 14.2 Legislative Committee to Dr. White. I think we just heard her report as well, but I'm gonna give it to you.
We have not met.
Very-
I did attend, the social for the School Board Association, and we won't meet, I believe it's not until October or November, our first meeting.
Alright. That brings us to 14.3, good of the order. Any board member who wishes to discuss or bring up an item that was not on the agenda may do so at this time.
I'm just excited for the new school year. I you can just feel the air of energy, and I'm excited to see some of the new faces in new places and see how we start off.
You're here.
An excellent job tonight, Mr.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like before, we can just jump our bicycles, jump back on. So I do have one thing I wanted to mention. So many of you are probably wondering, what the status is of our fifth board member. This evening, we did have, some interviews that we conducted with, four very qualified candidates, and I appreciate the fact that we had so much interest from the public. We interviewed those candidates tonight. We will be making a decision, and that should be a resolution item on our next agenda in 2 weeks. And the goal is to have that as an early agenda item. Approve that agenda item and then have them take the oath of office and then leave that side of the table and jump on this side of the table and jump right in and then realize that they have no idea what they just got themselves into.
And that the pay is great.
Yeah. It's self-gratifying. I love it, so. If there are no other things on good of the order, I would now turn to section 15, executive sessions. Is there a need from Dr. Lucas or the board for executive session?
None for me, sir.
And I have none as well. Before we entertain the motion to adjourn, I will say that that may have set a new land speed record with that personnel report, maybe didn't because that long personnel, excuse me, the board report status. Anyway, thank you all for coming this evening. If there are no questions, I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
I have a motion properly seconded on the floor to adjourn this evening's meeting. Any questions or comments on that motion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 3-0. We are now adjourned. Thank you all for attending tonight and safe travel home. Thank you, guys.